Do you know anything about the capes right now, Azor?
Well, as part of my experiments with the robes and stuff, I did take a look. There might be a way to activate it. I did think about doing it, but I can't remember actually now. It's been a week or
Okay.
so since I looked, and I have a horrible memory. But
I was going to talk to
why?
Tog, but he hasn't been on the same time I've been on. And when he is, I can't seem to get him most times. Or I
You
keep
want to
forgetting.
add
Yeah, go.
cape items or something?
Basically, that's Odedex's idea for me being able to render energy wings, because it's just going to go on the back. All I would need to do is change the texture, more or less.
I mean, I know nothing about Minecraft programming, but I know the cape entity is already available. The code is in there. You just need to modify it.
I guess I could just create an entity behind me.
And actually, I think
laggy.
there is a cape mode, right? You can actually take a look into that if it's possible.
It probably edits base classes.
Yeah.
You might be able to do it using reflection.
Can you explain what that is real quick? Because I'm not program savvy yet.
I'm also not super experienced with Java, but
No, you can't say that after Thumbcraft. I'm sorry.
Well, you can still do that.
all the like really technical stuff, like reflection and stuff, I'm still very much a noob. But basically, for me, reflection is basically just a way to access all the private fields and methods and stuff like that that you're not really supposed to. You sort of open them up. So for stuff like the cape, where there's maybe a field that you usually can't access that says the renderer should draw the cape or not, you can fiddle with that. The thing is, if I remember correctly, the cape, the texture it uses and stuff like that is hard-coded, which is a problem.
Yeah.
Because then you'll probably have to edit a base class to get at it.
And but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, I also try and avoid it as much as possible. However, the way I thought of adding like robes and hats and stuff like that is the renderer, the player renderer class is a field in it's a private field, and I can't remember in which class now, but I basically replace it. I create my own instance of player renderer. And use my own models and stuff like that. The problem is, if there's another mod, say for instance you want to do the same for capes, then whichever mod replaces that model last will have ownership of that thing. So that's my main issue. If any other mod uses it, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, pretty much the same as base class edits. Same idea.
Yeah, but in this case it's not a base class edit, but in the end...
Yeah. It's the field that's the compatibility issue.
Yeah.
It's no longer user convenience in that case, it's just... Will it work?
There are ways to force your own mod of being the one that ends up with ownership.
Yeah,
but
I want to be compatible as much as I can. Obviously, I can't do that with certain mods that don't want to be compatible, but...
Yeah, the other reason I'm hesitant to use that method is, for instance, there's quite a few mods like that use player API.
Yeah.
Like Balkan's weapon mod and stuff like that, and a lot of the same people that use my mod use those mods, and then it'll break them. At least it'll break the player API.
We'll see how it goes, though. I'm hoping I can get energy wings and you can get your robes and hats. My energy wings luckily won't have to be block or real item that does anything. It just says it's an upgrade, so it'll be like the class of it will be empty. All it'll have is the name of the item, and my way I'm going to access is like, is this upgraded installed onto the armor chest plate? If it is, when the way I've been talking to myself, dang it.
Yep, your push to talk is quite problematic.
Okay, so like I'm hoping I can get my energy wings and you can get your hats and robes. That was freaky. Who just opened the Nikolai chest? Anyway, but my energy wings probably be a little bit simpler than most of the items I have, as it'll just be a class, an empty class almost. It'll have an ID, a name, and implements upgrade or extends item upgrade. And then the only thing that'll make sure I can fly is the chest plate, and it'll check if the energy wings are upgraded or added to the chest plate. And when it is, you can double jump and fly.
Yeah, sounds pretty cool.
I don't like the idea of in-game items. I mean, the way you handle it is awesome with the research, but
Yeah, I also don't. I mean, some items do get a bit silly.
yeah,
Even my own mod, I have a few things that are way too powerful, especially for how easy they are to get.
yeah. Like the Sword of the Zephyr is a really nice item, but perhaps just a little too strong and pull force.
What I'm actually thinking of doing is, once I figured out how to add my own enchants, so I might not end up having like the Sword of the Zephyr or whatever, but the abilities will become like special enchants that are a bit more. You can't get it with the normal enchanting table or something.
Yeah.
So almost like upgrades as well, but using a version of the enchantment system.
Yeah, I'm taking out the. Well, I'm hoping our mods will play nicely with each other. I won't mess with anything in enchanting, but essentially I'm going to make it so people will want to enchant less. Because I don't like the idea of you put in the item, you read some scrambled up Commander King text, and you click it and you get some upgrade related to that. And you have no idea what you just upgraded to until you get the item. I like the idea that you can put in an item, upgrade it. You don't like this upgrade anymore, you put in the item again, you take out the upgrade, put something else. You have 7 slots, so... And I thank you, by the way, for that, same way you did the infuser texture on the top.
Yeah?
I managed to do it for a hexagonal pattern for my engineering table on top.
Cool. I actually listened, you described some of your upgrade system to Direwolf on one of his videos, and I actually like the sound of that.
Yeah. The crystals I have look insanely similar to yours, but I do have to say that mine are randomized. I don't know how much yours are randomized when placing, but I don't have it so you make the ore, then you place it, since they don't have any attribute of their own, like fire, water. They're just quartz crystal.
I'm actually...
Go ahead.
Do you use tile entity renderers to render them?
I believe so. I don't remember what I wrote. I just took, I rewrote World and Core, and I just didn't mess with the rendering of crystals this time. I just did item renderer again. It's the original way I had it. The crystal is 3D, when in hand and on the ground. But the way I originally did it, it was going to have problems with the SMP. So I used Forge item renderer, and I can have it so my crystal's still 3D in the inventory. And let me check about the tile render thing. Tile entity special render.
Yeah, I'm actually, my crystals, assuming they survive into the next version of the game, I'm not going to end up using that. Might be just my own noobishness, but they cause quite a bit of lag, actually.
They do. I mean, I think it's mostly because it's custom rendered, and it's a tile entity all over the place.
Yeah, so they have to render every tick, and I mean they're all over the place. So
You can, well, the rendering every ticks, I can't help, but it seems fine for me after worlds generated. I mean, as soon as you walk into a new world, it's like, okay, wait a second, you're going to have to give me a moment. After all the crystals are in place, it's like, okay, go ahead.
yeah, yeah.
SMP is nicer since the world's loaded and it's always the chunks are already generated.
Yeah, no, the crystals definitely, obviously, spawning them and such, but the actual rendering process. For instance, if you get chunk errors, we can see through the world.
Yeah.
Crystals are always visible right up to your view distance, and that really shouldn't be. So it means they're being rendered even if you can see them or not, which is bad.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna see if I can get that out too.
You know, giving you a warning, but I think I may have figured out a way to use them to render them using just a normal block renderer, which only occasionally updates. So if I actually manage to get that working, I could always like share the code.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, a lot of people were like, "That's Thaumcraft." It's like, well, yes, you take a crystal. Do you want it look at an item? Do you want to make a cube, or do you want it to look cool?
There's so many mods out there. It's impossible to not have some similarities.
I know.
And if I'm honest, I got the idea for the crystals from Powercraft.
Yeah.
These
really
crystals
cool.
are like
cube blocks.
square.
Yeah, I saw them. They look really cool though. If I could figure out some mathematical formula for fractal crystal generation in Minecraft, I would. But I don't want to take the time to make a fractal generation crystal. But what you doing? Programming the Fibonacci number into my crystal generation? The only thing I don't like about your crystals is that you have to have 9 of them to place them again. I understand why.
Originally, I didn't really want them placeable at all, but
yeah. I found a lot of bugs yesterday in my crystals, and I managed to fix them. And 2 things occurred in my errors. One, I fixed both the errors I found, but one of them was I wrote Necromancer in my code because of Monoboss constantly screaming Necromancer's getting me. 2, I had basically the orientation is going to be set when the block is placed, but the way I was doing it, it only checked it once, and it works perfectly if I was placing on a block. If I placed right-clicking on a torch, it would wink, but since I'm not placing on a solid block, it would wink to whatever I had originally defaulted as the orientation. All of them would pull back false and orient upwards. And once I break the torch, it's connected to the torch, or it's not connected to anything. It's just on block update, it would break. If I put a block on the top of it, it would update, but it would stay there until I break the top block, since it's connected instantly. It was rather interesting, but I made it so it checks it twice. Once for, is block solid on place, and once it does that check, it'll check if it's the orientation still -1. If it is, it'll check what block it's on now.
I've had the strangest errors.
Yeah.
With Thaumcraft. I mean, the stuff that sometimes pops up, it's
insane.
And people always manage to find You do
Bugs.
things you never think of.
I know. Most of the things I've gotten from people, though, haven't been from my mod. It's all been rendering, but it wasn't... It was like NEI glitched up, and then another one was he loaded a new world, and the world was flat until he walked 30 blocks, and when he did, the world turned sideways for him. Like, the entire Minecraft window was still rectangular, but everything in that window was still, like, 30 degrees off. I don't know what he did, but it was way wrong.
Oh, I had loads of those errors. When my mod was released, crystals, their rendering would get a bit messed up and they'd start rendering on the player's head. So it looked almost like a crystal crown.
Yeah. XComp had a problem, like the first episode of SMP, XComp had a problem with his items inventory when looking at a linking book and linking around new worlds. Direwolf's head was a wooden block. Oh, the errors people get. Sometimes non-related. I've actually solved the problem with your mod related, but that's because they put it into the jar.
Sorry?
Someone came up with an error log on Direwolf 20's channel, and it was your mod. The reason it crashed was because they put it into the jar.
Oh yeah, I get that a lot.
It's like, really, guys? You had to install Forge, and you're still going to put it in the jar. That's only Terra Firma crap, as far as I know. I'm wondering how SMP will be, or programming-wise, will be for 1.3 with Forge, since he's redoing a lot of the event handling. I don't know what he means by that, but... like, on player pickup, or...
Yeah, I'm not sure myself, which is one of the main reasons I'm kind of taking it very slow to...
go to Arcanacraft.
Yeah, I do like very basic things, but most of the really difficult things I'm leaving until everything is
Exactly.
sorted.
Yeah. It's like, I have all these machine concepts I want to make, but because of 1.3, I'm going to wait. And I hope my mod won't, like, look as a replacement for IC2. I really like IC2.
By the sound of it, you're aiming for a much higher tech, almost like sci-fi flavor, or am I
Oh yeah,
missing it?
it's not... have you ever played a game called Perimeter?
Now, name sounds familiar, but...
Okay, it was made by Co-Masters, if that helps at all. Essentially, you had a main base to start with. And then you had to build off that using StarCraft 2. Have you ever played that? Maybe that's a better idea.
Yep.
Okay, pylons. It's a little bit different from pylons. In Perimeter, you had to place basically power lines. Think of pylons requiring pylon power. And your main nexus has a power field as it is. That... Oh,
okay.
So I'll have nodes for power transfer and power cores for storing power. And I hate wires. I don't mind using other mods for wires. But I'm going to make it so it's like a energy beam kind of transfer. So they have to be within 2 blocks, 3 blocks, depending. Distance node will be like 8 blocks and up to 1 or 2 height-wise. So distance nodes will only be able to go horizontally in efficiency, and then normal nodes will be able to go up and down. Or more like a distance node can only go like 30 degrees, give or take.
Oh, okay.
But I have to figure out how to do a power net because I've never done one before.
Yeah. Another thing that was a real pain to figure out with my
Conduits.
yeah.
I like conduits. I hate breaking them, but I love conduits.
Yeah, they have a very painful what do you call it? Hitbox.
Yeah. Crystals took a while for that too. Because the way I make it random, I make it so the size is also random. So it's angle, size of the crystal itself, scale. So I tried to make a generic bounding box, and I managed to get one. I think I've only managed to make one crystal that's outside the bounding box in height-wise, but it's only like maybe a pixel or a texture 16 by 16 pixel kind of thing. Actually, out of curiosity, why didn't you use the 3D item for your crystal to start with instead of item icons?
Well, when I did it back then, I didn't know as much about the render as I do now, and didn't bother figuring it out. It was just easier to just make it a normal item with a
Yeah. And replace the block image. Yep. Though the item textures for it look really nice either way.
Cool, thanks.
I'm just hoping the 1.3 will fix something with the achievements. If you try to put one of your crystals as an achievement icon, it will have a translucent border for the entire achievement page, because I'm assuming you're doing your crystals that has item effects or something.
Oh yeah, I noticed that with NEI, I think as well, the recipes and stuff.
Yeah.
The whole block's purple.
Apparently it's a vanilla bug, but
yes,
they didn't know how to fix it, or they didn't really bother fixing it yet. So I'm hoping 1.3 does. So I can't put some of my items as has effects. It's just dynamic. If you change it dynamically in the game, it also changes for the achievement page. So annoying.
not sure how easily that will be fixable. Because I actually realized how it is happening a while ago. Can't remember now, but
yeah, I can't imagine it'd be easy because they made it so you just add an achievement. It's like, okay, there you go. Add an icon, take item. The has effect seems an interesting effect as it is. Looks really neat.
Yep. Actually went looking for the code for that the other day. Not very hard because I didn't find it, but there's something else I wanted to use it for. But ended up using something else. So I'm adding almost like the essences from my mod, the essence of purest earth and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Don't know if you remember ever played my mod much, but
I played it a little bit. I watched Irewolf play it mostly.
So yeah, so I added a lot more. There's like 32 different versions of that essence now.
Wow.
Much more. It's almost like a reagent for most of the crafting. It's but I wanted like a fancy effect in the, almost like a looks like a flame inside a potion bottle. I'm pretty pleased with how it came out. Like a flickering flame.
Is it like a soft particle kind of effect, or is it more like more blocky, pixelated kind of effect?
Yeah, it still uses the within the 16 by 16 because it's still sprites. I used the layered effects you can get, like I used within the eggs, the mob spawning eggs. But the one is just a texture I generate on the fly.
Nice. I need to try to figure out particle effects. So have you ever played Singularity?
Singularity. Once again, the name sounds very familiar.
Yeah, it's a first-person shooter that you go back in time first by accident, but then you get this kind of gauntlet.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I played that.
Awesome
Okay,
game. Quite stupid.
Yeah, the end of the game is stupid because you get all. It's like they prepare you for this boss kind of battle, and you just shoot one bullet.
Yeah, and
Anyway, okay, I guess the next example I could give is Star Wars Force Push. I kind of want to have some kind of visual for that because I want something similar, or if you think of Destruction Catalyst in EE, I want to have a very low grade of that, but have it so if it hits a block, it'll do one layer, and then if it hits a mob, it'll damage it. But I want some kind of visual effect for that, some kind of circle or something that slowly gets larger, I guess. I don't know. Not really sure how I do that. I guess make a sprite for same way I make the top of the engineering table. Make a 256 by 256 neon ring and make it so it renders it as an entity.
Yeah, you could do that.
Make it an arrow. Lots of arrows, but I think the only thing I have working fairly well is the egrosphere for placing water and lava, and the farmer add-on for the gauntlet. The rest of it's more or less I need to code to make it work, but it's workable. Like increasing the speed of the gauntlet mining was going to be dual core and quad core. Right now I can set the speed in the code and load up the game, but no way to do that dynamically yet. But I gotta say, I love MBT data.
I actually only figured that out 2 weeks ago, how to use it. I wasn't using it at all with Thumbcraft 2.
Yeah. But if you have a tool that's dynamic across all tools, so say you have a diamond pick, and it's all the diamond picks, no matter what number you set in that class file, it's all going to be the same. I need that different so I can have different instances of this gauntlet that all be the same item. So like one person has a gauntlet, they upgrade it, not everyone gets the upgrade.
Oh well, I'm actually. That's why I figured it out. You just like they do for maps.
Yeah.
I took a look at the map code.
I didn't know about the maps part.
Sorry?
I didn't know about the maps part. I didn't look at the map code.
Yeah, because it generates a unique ID.
Yeah.
That it then assigns to that specific item as its metadata, damage
nice.
value. And that's how it gets the NBT data. It goes and fetches. So one player has Gauntlet 500 and another one has Gauntlet 10,000 or whatever, and each have their own unique data.
Ironically, well, not ironically. More or less, I wanted this to also work in like red power sorting machines or diamond pipes. So that limited me down to not having metadata or any other kind of ID with it. So I think if I stick to just MBT data and initialize it when the item is created, it should be fine. So far it seems to be working, but I don't know how well that's going to work out in SMP.
So how do you uniquely identify that specific item?
Essentially, when you craft it, it's blank. It's just a gauntlet. It's a new item. But when you actually try to upgrade it, it will check to see if the MBT data is initialized. So it'll check if it's null. And if it's not, it will return that stack.mbT, get compound data, or whatever it was. If it is, it will set all of the default values into a new stack compound and then return that and set the stack compound. I don't see a bug with it so far, but again, I don't know how well it's going to work in SMP, or 1.3 for that matter.
Oh, that's actually interesting.
Yeah, it prevents any extra numbers like metadata or sorting issues with the automatic sorting system.
I honestly didn't know you could attach the NBT data directly to an item. I'm
You
actually
attach it to a
surprised.
stack, but all the item methods that are there have a stack parameter. So I just use that parameter most times. Some cases I can't use it because there's no stack parameter. But I don't. Those methods I don't typically need to use. If I do, I'll find another way around it. Like, let me open an example here. Right, not in this one. And I told odedex that I really don't understand why IC2 requires a plugin from NEI to add in the energy amount that's left in the tool. You can just do add information. I don't understand why they didn't do that.
Alright, so I got to the point in my frame board that I'm only stuck with the inchworm drives. Any of you guys know how to build it?
I have not built an inchworm drive in a while, so probably not. And I have to go soon anyways.
Asanor, do you know how to build an inchworm drive properly?
Properly? No.
Make it sure.
I did build this flying mining ball thing in my last survival game, but
There's no taint to remove. Wrong person to ask. Yeah, there's a method called onActivate, and the first parameter is item stack. That's the stack that's using the onActivate. So I can call that and get item stack from that, or get the MBT data.
I'm actually curious. I think you should like try and add something like Buildcraft or whatever to your test setup. Just see what happens when you pump that item through pipes and stuff like that, because it might lose the stack or the NBT data attached. But then again,
It shouldn't, because it keeps the stack as it is. Even because there's no you can't stack. The max stack size is 1, so it's not going to change any of that. NBT data shouldn't be destroyed unless told to, and if Buildcraft tells it to, I don't see the point in using my gauntlet with it. I might make it so it pops out if you try to. But I'll test that after I rewrite this, because the machines isn't really releasable yet. Like I said, it's code, start up the debug, and then try it out. I can't use the engineering table yet. And I don't like the idea of vanilla Minecraft. Pliers plus handsaw plus hammer equal pickaxe. So I have my engineering table has a small metal platform on top, an opening with 4 spinning rectangle in the center, and then a base platform to stand on for the rest of the block. And that will be both for upgrading as well as crafting. I just need to handle whether or not it's crafting or upgrading, and what to do with the items if it's in the thing. Because as it stands now, if I put in items into crafting area and then put in an upgradable item, assuming that what happens to the items that are on that item, they're for upgrades already. and what happens to the items that are in the crafting bench already. Which ones get precedence? And should I make them override? Or how to make it so it doesn't override? Probably try to do like something, if you put an item that's upgradable, pop out all the items that are in the crafting bench. I know that's not the best idea, but one of the only option to see. Or get number of items that are in the equipment item already and pop out that number. Since there's only 7 slots maximum. Yep, but I gotta go now, so I'll catch you guys later.
Yeah, I actually have to head out myself. It's 12:30 already.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, where I am, so.
Yeah, near Finland's time zone, just not quite. Sweden's, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. It's fun
See ya.
talking to you guys.
You too.
See ya.
Cheers.
Odedex, I'll probably be on later, so
Okay.
I don't know if you'll be on or not, but I'll probably take a look at your quarry system, what you have left.
Okay, cool.
User disconnected from your channel. User disconnected from your channel.
Alright, so as these guys are leaving, I hope you guys actually tell me, do you like content like this where I'm peacefully making my things while these type of guys talk about other programming and complicated stuff on Teamspeak? I really like to know if you guys prefer that type of content or not, to know if you guys would like to see this type of content more or not. So I'm pretty much set in terms of let's see, I want to pull out empty batteries here, and this one should only filter full batteries, and I should be fine. Oh wait, the retriever doesn't get any power. I can use the power from this. I will need blue alloy jacketed wire. However, this is a little bit counterintuitive because it can accidentally run out of power. However, this is very unlikely. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. So I'm just planning to finish this here and pretty much wrap up this episode for now. It's actually been more than one episode, no doubt. I am actually not following the time. We'll obviously separate it into a couple of episodes, and what you're watching now is the last episode of this session. So let's see this in action. There we go. So this retriever will pull out all the empty batteries, and this filter will send out full batteries, and they all go back into this ender chest, which should be filled in the overworld back into full batteries. I just want to see it happening in real time. There we go. This is what I like about SMP worlds, and also 1.3 in the future. You got to run multiple worlds at the same time, and this is an extremely awesome and useful tool. Alright guys, so thank you very much for watching, and again, as I said before, please tell me guys what you think about this type of content of different people, different mod developers and players on the server, discussing about their mods and what their thoughts about Minecraft. So see you guys next time.